What's up, you guys? Welcome back. In today's video, we have 5 tips for new players or semi-new players to get started and to help them on their way. So if you're interested, watch till the end. So roll the intro and get straight into tip number 1. Tip number 1 is stay in tier 1, tier 2. Hear me out on this, okay? If you're new to the game, you don't know anything about it. You don't know the maps. You don't know what weapons are good. You don't know what weapons to invest in, which we will talk about it later on in another tip. You don't know what leveling up weapons means. So to get things going, you want to stay in that area, learn the maps, learn to use your weapons, see what works for you and what doesn't. There are a lot of opportunity and basic weapons for those 2 tiers. Stay there, get to know the map, get to level up the weapons you like. Talking about weapons will be up here in the next video. So to level up your weapons, I'll show it on screen right now. You just go here, go to this section. If you level up your weapon, it should be green as showed here. If not, you can see it if you have the weapon equipped, which you can see here. This will basically make your gun stronger. Why is it so important? Like, if you start out and you go with a tier 0 weapon into a tier 5 match with level 0 on the weapon, you won't do anything. If you go in a tier 5 game with a tier 0 weapon that's level 10, you're actually going to do insanely good. I've tested it out myself. It really does work. So leveling up your weapons is your first priority, next to getting experience in those lower tiers. So for tip number 2, we're going slightly back to tip number 1 with the experience. Experience is in-game experience. So you go in a game and every time you win or lose, you get robots, which basically is the currency of the game. It's free. You get it after every game. The first thing you want to do with that is invest in upgrading your bay. Upgrading your bay will be shown on screen right now. Go to the little area, the green button that says upgrade bay. You press it and you want to upgrade it nearly to max. Why I don't say max? You don't want to go max. Max basically means you get 10,000 CPU. Then you're like, game devil, that's a good idea, right? No, it's not. In this game, you're only allowed to use 2,000 CPU in normal games. 2000 CPU plus to 10,000 CPU is megabot. That means it's only allowed in custom games or special events, which so far I haven't seen an event with 10,000 CPU or max 10,000 CPU. So let's say only custom games. So you could do that if you want to, but you can't use that in game. The max you can use in multiplayer games is 2,000 CPU. Next on the list is if you have upgraded your base or bay, make a bot. Make a tier 1 or tier 2 bot. Little side note for you guys. Tier 1 goes to max 1000, then otherwise you get straight into tier 2 with only placing blocks. So make sure if you want to make a tier 1 bot to keep it below 1000 CPU. For tier 2, however, it's max 2000. And of course, you need to look at the weapons. As shown here on screen, you can see this bar. This bar basically shows you what tier you are and how far you're into this tier. I'll give you 2 examples by scrolling through my base. The next that goes into this specific tip is, of course, learn how to build. This helps you out by getting better at building. Like, you have a lot of triforcing, for example, or damage reduction stuff, which if you want, there will be a tutorial on right here or in the playlist that's also up here. That basically will be a bit more advanced because triforcing and rod forcing It's something that's really hard, especially for new players, but it's something you could try to learn or look on YouTube. I will make a tutorial on it as well, but as of right now, this is the first tutorial video on this channel. So maybe by the time you're watching it, it's already in the playlist up here. And otherwise, I will link it up here as well. So the last tip in this category, or part of the category, is the Robocraft factory, which it's Future Devil again. It's shown on the screen right now. You go to the menu, you go to factory, and you have a lot of bots, which you can get for free, amidst you have to pay for it, as shown on screen. This is very important, especially if you're new and you don't really know how to build. You can get stuff from this exact factory and use that to your advantage. I wouldn't go over tier 2 as a starter. So I wanted to add that. So for tip number 3, it's very easy. High tier weapons are not always better. I'm going to show you 2 clips. So let's jump into 2 clips and then talk about them. So the first clip you see is me using a tier 4 laser on a Mac, which I created back in the days. Look at how fast your energy goes down. Now you have a clip of the same Mac with a tier 0 gun. The energy goes down slower, as you can see. So what you can take from this is high tier weapons take more energy. Energy is the thing that allows you to fire. How faster your energy goes down, how less you can fire. The thing is, with higher tier weapons, they do more damage, but take up more energy. Lower tier weapons do less damage, but take up less energy. But then the leveling system comes up in play. So basically, there is a slight difference in DPS. It is really what you like better. Like back in the days, tier 4 weapons were the best, or Mega SMGs tier 5 were the best. Nowadays, tier 1 guns or tier 0 guns are just as good as tier 5 weapons. It's just whatever you prefer. Do you prefer to spam weapons and use no real energy, or do you want to spend some energies on higher weapon or higher deep damage per shot? It really does depend on your playstyle and your preferences. There's something I wanted to add to this part. Higher tier weapons are better. Lower tier weapons are weaker. But it is preference based, and all guns are pretty viable. It does depend on how you use it and how you want to use it. That's something I forgot to add, and there are no misconceptions about it. So higher tier weapons is better, even according to the stats. They're better, even DPS wise. But they take up way more energy. So it really does depend on the way you build your bot, which will be covered in another video. So make sure to check it out. The second part of this tip, of course, is don't waste your tech points. Tech points is something you get by leveling up. Also, getting experience, you get tech points. Hey, as I said, continue watching and don't skip to a certain spot, because everything is helpful. So getting tech points, don't waste them. As you can see on screen, this is how you get to the tech tree. You basically go in your home screen, you go to the open room and go to tech tree. As you can see, there's a massive tree which you can all use tech points on. Currently, I'm using my own account, which already has everything unlocked already, but for you guys, it's probably empty or blacked out. So you don't want to waste your tech points on things you're not using. Things that I would not recommend spending your tech points on first as an experienced player is wheels and tank tracks. They might look cool, but they're not very viable. So don't waste them on that. If you like lasers, start investing in better lasers. If you want to use better lasers, that is. But first, get more building blocks. That's the first thing you should do. Expand into building blocks. Not into weapons, not into movement, No, blocks, because you want to be able to build, create. And then as time goes by, you want to invest in the gun you like more, like a laser. Maybe you want to get a higher DPS laser or higher damage per shot laser because you don't like the slow DPS you currently have or the damage per shot you now have. Then you want to invest into another laser or a higher tier laser. Also keep in mind how higher the laser or how higher gun you go, how more CPU it requires. CPU is of course what we talked about. You have a max of 2000, so spend it wisely. Do you want to armor it up and use less guns? Or do you want to make it vulnerable and use a lot of guns? That's up to you. So for tip number 4, we're going to dive into a bit more advanced stuff, which is very important for you new guys out there. Otherwise, I wouldn't place it in this video. And it's all about your steering wise. So for every movement opponent in the game, you need to have a certain steering section, which you can find on screen. Well, I'll show you where to go. You go to customizations, customize. Then you have a lot of options. You have camera steering by default. You have keyboard steering, camera tilt, tank turn to face camera, sideways driving. You need to figure out what works for your specific movement part. And this is very effective because if you have the wrong settings, it could make or break a bot. For example, if I have camera steering on this particular bot that I'm showcasing right now. If I put keyboard steering on it, it won't work as effective because it's a all the guns face forward. It's a front line based attack. If people flank me from the back, I'm basically dead because I need to turn around and then shoot at them. So it really does depend on your specific bot, what movement or steering way you need or want. And that's something I couldn't place anywhere else, but it's very important. So do make sure that you have the correct steering settings for your particular bot. So for example, camera steering on a car with wheels probably won't work. So make sure you have the right options selected. And for the last tip number 5, you want to get into a community. Communities could help you out so much. If it's the official Robocraft Discord server, which will be linked down in the description, or the community that I'm currently in, which will also be down in the description. So if you are interested, make sure to join the Discord. We can hang out and play together. Joining a community, especially if you're new, could help you out so much because then there's people that actually know the game, have experience with it, and can tell you what's good, what's bad in their opinion, or give you general tips and tricks which might not be in this video. So joining a community would help benefit not only you, but also the guys that are in the community, especially if they love helping you guys out. I know I do, and the community that I'm currently in does. The other thing is, watch YouTube, watch Twitch, watch those streamers play, interact with them. Subscribe to YouTubers that play this game. I don't really care if they just speed build, give tips and tricks, or just regular gameplay. You can always learn from them, and that's something that it will help you out. Like you can look at how they play and implement it into your specific gameplay, or you can just look at how somebody builds. Try to leave a comment or ask a question why they build it like that. That would help you out. It would help the community out, and it will create a bond. Especially if you go, for example, on Twitch. I'm live streaming on Twitch. Link will be below the screen right now. People like me love to interact with you guys in chat. So make sure if you have any streamer, like if there are any people live on Twitch and they actually speak English or your language, try to interact with them. See if you can get any tips or tricks out of them. see if you can maybe get to play with them, which will help you guys out a lot. So do make sure you join communities, look at YouTubers, streamers. And I'm not just saying to myself about this, but would be very helpful. But to in general, look at them, break down their content. Why are they good? Why are they bad? What are they building? How are they building it? That will help you guys out so much. It's kind of hard, but it's something that will be worth your while, especially if you're new to the game. So that's going to be it for this video, but I have something to say before we actually end it. The thing is, if I miss any particular tips, or you guys that watch are experienced or have some other tips for newer players, make sure to leave them down in the comments. I will read and reply to every comment, and I will pin the comments that are actually worth it. Like, they give actually viable tips for you guys. So make sure you check the pinned comment section. Also, if you do like this content, to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share, because that will not only help out me, help out the channel, but also what's very important, it will help this game grow and will help the newer players get a better understanding of this game, which this entire series is about. If you want to look at other tutorials like best movement parts, best guns, will be up here in the left side or right side, don't know. One of the two will be the playlist to the particular series. So with that, thank you guys for watching and see you guys later. Peace out. I just smashed my microphone, I mean.